to the April 2009 Shade Tree Commission meeting, and also wish you all a happy Earth Day. We have one plan item on the agenda tonight, and that is 404 Boxwood Road. Could the rep for that particular project please step forward and identify yourself?
How you doing? My name is Chris Yawn. I work for Momini and Associates. We are the civil engineers for the project.
Okay. We just got this plan yesterday, so we've not really had a lot of time to look at it. So if you could please describe what's going on.
Okay, sure. There are two existing lots. Lot 1, the one on the north side, closer to Conestoga Road, has an existing house on it that actually burnt down. Lot 2 is vacant. Both lots are owned by the same homeowner. We have two separate applications, but save a little paper, and I put it all in one plan. So on Lot 1, they're going to build a new house and a pool, reorient the driveway, and on Lot 2, they'd like to put a tennis court with a building to serve the tennis court and 2 parking spaces to serve the building. As part of the development, we'll start with Lot 1. There are, and actually, since we submitted those plans, I talked to the homeowner, and there was another tree that he wanted to relocate that on your plan, I believe it shows as 11 trees to be removed, that's now 6. Yes, there's where the garage is, there is it says 5-6-inch magnolias, basically a tree cluster that the homeowner would like to relocate, and that's shown by a box around the tree rather than an X. There's actually a few others in the middle of the driveway. When you come in the driveway, you go underneath the overpass, and just a little bit further there's a cluster of 4-inch dogwoods that's also going to be transplanted. And by the pool, there's a tree that's labeled as 2 6-inch basswoods that will be relocated. So those trees were all noted to be good, healthy trees that the homeowner wanted to relocate. So then what we're left with is 6 trees to be removed, which are actually only shown by 4 symbols. One is a 6-inch walnut, one is a 14-inch dogwood, another is a 34-inch pine, and then there's a cluster, 3 8-inch dogwoods that we'd like to remove. The 6-inch walnut is right at the driveway entrance. There, actually, if you go in the driveway a little further, there's a notation, a cluster of 3-inch dogwoods, which is not on the replacement tree list, but will be removed. The 34-inch pine is to the right of the driveway, a little further up. The 3 8-inch dogwoods are where the future garage is, and the 14-inch dogwood is the driveway turnaround area. And I believe that those are all the ones noted to be removed. I have the calculations on the plan that for those 6 removals, we'd need 7 replacements. And for now, I show them along the front property line to buffer from the neighbor, and also a few in the back. But the owner does have a landscape architect, but he hasn't prepared a plan yet. So they may change.
Okay. I'm glad to see that they are willing to relocate those smaller trees. One question I have, there's a catalpa down where you've got your tennis courts and your stormwater retention system. It's a relatively good-sized caliper, and it is not going to survive that kind of construction.
Okay. The homeowner wanted to try to keep that tree. I had originally had that tree to be removed. But he wanted to keep it so you're correct that the tennis court is close and there's grading within the drip line, and the stormwater management system is close as well. But the tennis court doesn't really have an opportunity to move from where it is because of the ideal angle of the tennis court. Don't have a lot of shot. I could move the stormwater system slightly, but I'm afraid to go too far south with the stormwater system because there is a floodplain. So as part of the grading permit, the homeowner does have to escrow for trees. They want to keep it, but if it does go down, they'll plant the replacement trees, and there's escrow in place for that.
Okay.
I guess since we're on lot 2, there was only one tree designated to be removed, or I guess 3 trees depending on, it was another cluster of 12-inch birches. And when I talked to the homeowner recently, he wanted to try to keep that tree as well. So what we will be doing is relocating the future building. We'll bring it much closer to the tennis court so that we can keep that tree. So we won't ask for that to be removed anymore. So,
What might that future building be? Is there any projection?
I think they think it's going to be a guest house. The tennis court is an accessory use to a dwelling, so that building will have to meet the definition of a dwelling with kitchen, bathroom.
Is that sanitary lining?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So there's, with the drainage area by the Catalpa, that can't be moved to, if I'm looking at the plan, the same way you are, to the right at all? That looks like that would stay in the contour.
I could move it a little. I hesitate to, and I started with it where it is because there is a floodplain, and although we did do perk tests and we got good results, moving too far from those perk tests, I'm afraid we're going to get too close to.
Yeah, and you just showed it moving downhill. What about moving with the contour?
I could do that a little bit.
Do you have to stay outside of that potential future building with the line that comes to that? Is that?
I have to be 10 feet from, a stormwater system should be 10 feet from a building or from a foundation. So it's a good point that if we shift the future building, that gives me a little more opportunity to shift the stormwater system.
Yeah, because essentially the building could go on the other side of the line. Is that right? Or
I could pull the building closer to the tennis court, which would allow me to run the stormwater system maybe more linear or longer rather than more of a square.
Okay.
And
that'd be good as long as you then don't put the building into the drip line of the Catalpa.
Right.
Yeah. but it looks to me like you could. Yeah. That would help the Catalpa a great deal. To cut roots on either side is not good, or to put anything on top of the roots or on either side. But to hit it on both sides is really hard.
Okay.
And then on the top of the plan, off the future garage, there's a 28-inch maple that is
1 and 20.
Yeah, 1 and 20. So it's about 20 feet from where grade changes will be.
Okay.
Is there any way of staying further away? That's a fairly large maple, and they have shallow roots that don't take well to. You're adding soil, is that right?
Actually, we're cutting.
Cutting. Okay. Got it. Is that could a wall be done to so you don't have to go quite as far, or go with a steeper slope? Or
I could steepen the slopes a little bit. I'm not I'm not sure if the homeowner would go for a wall, but I could steepen up the slopes a little.
Okay, that would help that, I would say.
Is that, excuse me, is that turnaround really, I mean, it's a large turnaround, is that really necessary? That's a lot of macadam.
Yeah, the standard that we go with, which is really the minimum, is 30 feet, and this is 35, so it gives a little extra room to be more comfortable. And part of that has to do with, you know, the fact that there's a future garage behind it. There's not as much room to turn back, so you do almost have to go straight back before you turn.
Yeah, because we're getting, right, that's a 35-foot.
Did you say 20 feet is how close you'd like to stay away, or that's where you
No,
think
it's
we are
currently
now?
20.
Okay.
Yeah, you're 20 feet now.
You know, currently 20, so where you'll be
28.
cutting, and then presumably you'll actually be disturbing another 3 to 5 feet closer to the tree, so you're within 15 feet of the tree, the trunk of the tree. You know, so steepening that slope, and actually if you could even reduce that turnaround area, either by how far away from it is from the new garage, not the proposed, or moving it away from the future garage a little bit, you know, indenting it a little bit, or doing both. Both things would help that tree.
Okay.
If you took, yeah, the western corner, if you want to call it that northwestern corner of your turnaround, and took it east, if you're saying the turnaround, the minimum is 30 feet?
30, it's the rule of thumb is 30, and we don't like to go below 30. And in this case, because you don't have as much of when you back out of your spot, since you don't have as much, you know, you're confined by the future garage, you want to have a little more room to go straight back. I think I do have an opportunity to push that edge, maybe 3 feet or a little bit over, and at the same time tightening up the grades to end up with, you know, I don't know, 6 or 7 feet less disturbance.
Okay.
Are there any trees on the within 10 feet of the property line on the bottom of the page? I didn't see the compass, but it.
Southern side.
So the southern side, are there? It doesn't show any trees. I don't think. And
You know, we actually did the plan, the grading permit plan for that adjacent lot, and I know that in my file I have those trees, but you're right, I don't see them right now. I can put those on the plan.
okay, is that that's part of the. It's 10 feet. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything that's within 10 feet of the property line, and because the tennis court is coming fairly close to the property line there, I think that's we should need to see those.
Okay, also, to the southwest of your tennis courts, there is an 18-inch maple, and you're adding soil to get your grade for your tennis court?
This 18-inch maple.
Right.
Okay.
And you're playing very close.
Yeah, with the drip line, we're on the erosion sediment control sheet is where we show the tree protection, and we're barely inside the drip line on that one. It's really not much of a grade change. It's more of getting a little swale there next to the tennis court to collect water and take it down to a drain rather than letting it go on the neighbor's property. So it's not much of a disturbance there.
I'm seeing it's 2 feet addition to, on top of the root system of that tree, plus it's within the construction zone of that tennis court. When you said there was an escrow in here for trees that may or may not make it, do you know what that escrow is?
The township code is $500 per tree, up to a maximum of 15 trees. And so you go by how many trees are within 25 feet of disturbance. So in this case, there's at least 15, so it's $7,500. It's kind of a shame because in this case that's a good thing with the 18-inch maple within 25 feet, but in some other cases where it might only be a 6-inch tree, you're escrowing for a tree that really doesn't have much of an opportunity to be hurt if you're 20 feet away from it.
Right.
Actually, because these are 2 separate lots, we have 2 applications. Both lot has 7,500.
Right. Okay. That's the next question I was going to weave into.
Okay. So under the, I hadn't realized the grade change then under the catalpa tree. There's significant grade change between the tennis court and the catalpa tree. Why is it that the tennis court couldn't be moved towards the north?
Yeah, it's an accessory use has to be a minimum 10 feet to the property line, and it is 10 feet on basically all of the all corners, or three corners, here, here, and here.
They haven't thought about just merging the 2 lots into 1 lot. Then you wouldn't have that problem.
That's not really desirable. I mean, we did let them know that that's an option. Certainly, if they merge the lots, they wouldn't have to install the parking area. Well, they wouldn't have to install a building to act as the primary use in order for the tennis court to be there. And then once you have the building, they wouldn't need the 2 parking spaces. So they understand that, but that's not an option.
And it looks to me like around the catalpa you would be doing soil disturbance within the tree protection. Am I not reading that correctly?
I think you're right. I think we drew a circle, and you're right that on the northern side that we should correct that.
And how would you correct it? By moving the fence or moving the grading?
I'd have to move the fence. The grading's, I believe it's, let me get a scale to see.
That wasn't the answer I wanted.
I think the message is that catalpa is doomed if this is what you're planning, and if so, you might as well figure it into your replacement plan and get it over with, even though the owner wants it.
Yeah, so I think it's fine not to cut it down, but I think we require a replacement tree because we feel that what's being done to it is so severe.
Is it okay to note on the plan something to the effect that if it dies within a certain amount of time, then the replacement trees are necessary rather than just giving them up front?
I wouldn't agree to that, but it seems to me there's more than enough room in this property to plant the replacement trees.
Okay.
In the southeastern corner, there are 3 ash trees, and it looks like there's, what's going on there? Is, with the stone riprap, is that being added, and what all's being done in that area?
That's the overflow for the stormwater system, and it's a bubble-up spreader. It's a perforated pipe with stone around it.
And
It's 20 feet long by about
so
2
where
feet
this,
wide.
and so where is the bubble up? Is that at where it says stone riprap, or is it the end of top bank, or?
It's right below where it says top bank.
Okay, all right. And so then where the hash marks are, are you doing any digging? What is the what do the lines mean?
The single line hatching is slopes greater than 20%.
Okay, so there's no digging going there.
Right.
So
We're just on the high side of those. Basically, right above the top of bank is where the spreader will go, bubble-up spreader.
Okay, and that's the end of where the soil disturbance would be?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, on the grading plan, I just have a disturbance big enough to excavate and install that pipe and spreader.
Okay. All right. Could you, and you have the tree protection fencing ending right at the end of that bubbler, is that right?
Actually, I don't show tree protection fencing there. I have silt fence, which
That silt
I
fence?
figure
Okay.
is equivalent at that point because you
Right.
can't go past it.
Right, okay. I wonder if we should ask them to extend the tree protection fence going up there, or silt,
Yeah, you've got a 20 and a 40-inch ash, and you're
and a 30-inch ash.
30, right, and there's going to be some disturbance to the soil with that, right?
There will be, I guess my only argument to that would be that they are on the other side of, that stone riprap is existing, and there's a swale, intermittent stream there, that the trees are on the other side of this stream, so it's certainly possible that the roots go under, you would know better than me, but that the roots go underneath and come back up, but I didn't think that was a major disturbance to those trees, given that the swale was there.
Okay, but I'll agree with Bill in that. I think you need to show tree protection there for your bubbler construction.
Okay.
Going up, so it also protects that 30-inch ash, yeah.
Going
The silt
north?
fence,
Going north from where the,
yes.
okay.
Yep. It seems to me the silt protection fence will, or the silt will protect it where it is there, where the silt line is. Do you feel that?
I would prefer to see tree protection fence
Okay.
because to a construction person, tree protection and silt fence represent two different things.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't see anything else.
Yeah. All righty.
Okay, these can all be made conditions that we can just resubmit to Sue.
Yep,
Okay.
we will do that.
Now, they want to recap them?
Yeah, let's recap them so we're all on the same page.
We were talking about the small future building was going to move to the left a little bit. Okay, and then they were potentially going to move the storm drainage around with the contour lines, is that correct?
Yes, I'll rotate it a little counterclockwise.
All right.
And
So you'll get it away from that tree will survive a little better. The tree here at the right end of the tennis court, We're going to assume it's going to die, what you're going to do, and then you're going to put aside the money in the escrow for that.
And no, we actually made it that they would,
2 replacement trees.
they would do 2 replacement trees.
Okay.
Yep.
In lieu.
They would actually do the replacement trees. They won't be taking the catalpa down, but they'll actually plant the 2 replacement trees.
All right. Handwriting's terrible, but at least we got it down. Then this place up at the far northwest corner of the parking lot, you were going to move that 3 feet, did you say?
Yeah, I'll do a combination of trimming the driveway and tightening up the grade lines to provide less disturbance to that maple. I think I could do about 3 feet or so in the driveway and then trim up the grade lines.
The purpose is to get it east, further away from the maple tree up there.
Right.
And other than then we talked about the tree protection by the bubbler down here at the bottom right-hand side.
Right.
And that's all of it? Or am I missing something?
I think that's all of it. And you did catch the fact that, the owner has agreed to move some of those smaller trees from the original, the original
Yes,
plan, he
it
was going to.
It was 5 6-inch magnolias. A magnolia cluster is going to be transplanted. That was the one that was mistakenly labeled. There were already 2 noted that way, the 5 4-inch dogwoods and also the 2 6-inch basswoods. The other mistake was on lot 2. The 3 12-inch birches that we show to be removed will be saved once we move the future building.
But there are 2 up here or 3 up here? Did you say?
It's 3.
In that area?
It's 5 4-inch dogwoods.
All right.
And what was, 3 6-inch magnolias.
5.
Is that a
5 inch?
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's
Yeah,
5
5
6 inches.
6-inch dogwoods, or magnolias, and 5 4-inch dogwoods.
And then the 2 6-inch basswoods, which are by the pool.
You're replanting all of them?
Yeah, they were transplanting all of them.
Okay.
And did you include the adding of the trees within, if there are any trees within 10 feet of the property line?
I will do that.
Okay. And Sue is going to watch this online tomorrow and compare it to your notes.
That's all right. I was going to give her the notes, but I was certainly happy to do that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, the only other announcements that I have, we've got 2 hazardous tree reports, one at 911 Academy Lane, which has been approved, and another at 263 Shimoni Road. Both the ones on Academy Lane were a 54-inch and a 50-inch Norway maple, and the 263 Shimoni Road was a 36 European beech, and both have been approved. The township is currently planting trees along Route 30 with the support of funding from the Chanticleer Foundation. We are planting 25 trees this spring to try to green up the Route 30 corridor, and plans are in the making for another 50 trees this fall. And the second announcement I would like to make is that Arbor Day will be celebrated this year. The Radnor Township Arbor Day will be celebrated at Chanticleer this Friday at 10 a.m. and all are invited. And I think that is all on my agenda. Anybody else have anything for the? Nope. Okay. Well, again, thank you very much. Happy Earth Day and happy Arbor Day. Cheers.